Hello, it's Friday. Yes, Friday. Welcome to the channel. My name is Brett with anvillmusicmedia. I thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much. I'm excited about today's topic and what we're going to talk about and discuss today. It's been a great week. Not too many updates going on in the technology world, but we always have something to talk about. Of course, there is a rise in terms of the popularity and the future of AI, artificial intelligence. That's what I've been focused on the past few months. We've talked quite a bit. If you get a chance, please, go check out um, online on YouTube. More namely, all of my AI videos that I've actually posted. And so, we're going to get right into the topic today. It's going to be probably a familiar topic for most of you, well, at least the ones that are really up to date with how the government and companies have been interacting in terms of company growth. More specifically, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is a huge chip company, as you guys already know. And we're going to talk about NVIDIA's strategic investment and what they really invested in probably either earlier this week or last week. They pretty much pulled a company out of the gutter, which is Intel. Intel is a U.S. based company, and just how the government sort of like came in and intervened. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to talk about AI in terms of how the chip industry and what the chip industry future is going to look like, and the competition between the U.S. and China. We're going to break this down and what this means for AI, for robots, and honestly, the future of the U.S. economy. More specifically, even though I'm talking globally to all of you guys. So as you're joining, please ask that you would like this video, subscribe to the channel if you get a chance. My name is Brett with Anvil Music and Media, and so we've talked about AI and the development of all of these different technologies. And guys, we're so connected now to the point everything online that we sort of that we have access to, it's all about real time online and how we're able to just access instantly. The world is so connected, and so business practices have turned away even from no, a lot of businesses still have employees. Of course, they employ people, but they've really started lately to instead of have a building or own a building full of employees, now they're turning to software and services. You can think about companies like Netflix, Uber. You can think about companies like Apple. All of these companies are really, they still have workers that work for them. But however, this is a service based industry that's more or less offering software now. So this is the change that we're sort of looking at, right? Access on the internet is a way to deliver new things, right? It's and you want to be able to access things in real time, right? That is the way of the future. And so how does AI sort of integrate with this? And we already know, right? We already know because it's going to absolutely take advantage of this right here. So we're going to get right into the video. Let's see here. We've got a few comments here. I just want to add this right here. But thank you guys for joining. Those who have joined, I really appreciate you. Let me know where you're watching from in the world. I know we've got plenty of subscribers and followers. So the big news today, or the big news that has come across the news headline, is the U.S. government and a chip company called NVIDIA. I may have called them NVIDIA earlier, but it's actually NVIDIA. They just made a strategic investment in Intel. And so many of you that don't know, Intel is a computer-based company. It's Windows-based. It made basically all of makes all of Windows Microsoft chips. And Intel had been in a lot of trouble as of recently, and not really trouble. They just were on the way out. Like the company, is in terms of its future was very bleak and wasn't doing well in the market, right? And so Nvidia once again is the darling chip company of the world. It's probably number one in terms of its chip distribution. It just made a strategic investment in Intel. Now, how does this sort of tie into artificial intelligence? We're going to get into it. But Nvidia is sort of always been able to rise to the top. I mean, you're talking about billions and billions of dollars in chips, and so with AI, you've got to make all of these chips are being made, um, and being shipped and exported to the U.S. and in and out of the U.S. And it's just this economy, this whole technology, chips, and the economy is it's really a growing, robust system that's happening. But some experts are saying that this moment can be as big as when Microsoft saved Apple, and this was in 2000, or I'm sorry, 1997. Would you believe Apple, the company that I've listened, this is the company that I do reviews off of. I pretty much made the channel off of Apple, the company. But there was a one point in time where Apple was not in a good space, and Microsoft and Apple had come together, and they did sort of they had sort of a I wouldn't say a truce, but it was like they sort of came together and banded together and came up with a system to where Apple would use Windows and Intel based chips. So it really saved this partnership saved Apple. That's what I wanted to call it. So it was a partnership that saved Apple, and we all know what happened after that. Apple pretty much like shot through the sky, right? So is this the moment for Intel that NVIDIA saves Intel and secures America's chip future? Well, if you don't know already, the U.S. government, the American government, is very stingy on policy, and they're very they don't want money leaving the country. And Intel would have been literally the last major company of chips to be American based and American made. So um, we've gotta understand that sort of history of things. So today we're gonna talk and break down what this means for AI, what this means for the chip industry, and what this means for even for robots, the U.S. And China's competition, because China's kind of in this space, it's in this world. And so the question remains for me is Intel, the company, why now? Well, Intel used to dominate. They used to dominate chips, but they fell behind a company called TSMC. Now, this is a company out of Taiwan. And today, TSMC, and you can look it up, TSMC produces about 66% of the world's AI chips. That's a lot. It's a lot. That's a huge percentage. And that's insane, because it's like 2 out of every 3 AI chips come from China. Of course, the U.S., being the capitalist society and the capitalist economy that we are, the U.S. is not very pleased about that. These are all numbers that we're talking about, real numbers. 66% of all AI chips are being produced, and the U.S. can't really afford this risk, right? It can't afford to back down or become second place, if you will. So if tensions actually rise over Taiwan, the U.S. supply chain could literally collapse, right? It literally collapsed. So this Intel deal isn't just about business. It's about the future. It's about national security and sovereignty, and that's the U.S. government's. That's literally what their issue is currently. So I see. Let's see. I see some comments here. And guys, feel free to reach out and leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. So let's get into the bigger picture of AI. Now, AI is likely to drive a gold rush, right? This is going to be a major revenue source and a revenue market in the future. The demand for AI chips is unlike anything that we've seen in history. We are on the verge of, this is where real-time demand meets access, right? And they clash together. So it's about the whole entire ecosystem. People are basically calling this new age tilling the earth with compute. So it's not just NVIDIA stock, right? It's a whole ecosystem or ecosystem. We're talking about data centers. We're talking about clean energy providers, real estate near power hubs. Now, real estate is being ate up. I mean, people are picking up real estate beside that is going to be the foregrounds or the grounds to and the means to build all of these data centers. So AI is basically building a new infrastructure layer for the planet, if you believe. So my question to you guys is, if you had $10,000 to invest, would you put it in NVIDIA stock, clean energy, and real estate, or data centers? Like, that's the question to be. So for me, obviously, I'm going to put that into a super stock, a blue chip stock, which is NVIDIA, which is really the future of technology in terms of stock. So here's the question: what can AI do now? Well, AI is not just about spitting out text anymore. It's not just about prompting or answering your prompts. It's about solving problems that humans could not solve for centuries. It's also about taking information from historical books and sources and really gathering and really sort of bringing together this huge informational system, right? So here's an example. AI discovered a new solution recently to the Navier-Stokes problem in fluid dynamics. Now, this is way above my head. I mean, we're talking about engineering. So you can look that up. It's Navier-Stokes. Also in healthcare, there are models like the DELI 2M. You can look that can forecast literally thousands of diseases just by medical records alone. So you're talking about a database of brain, and that's the reason for all of these data centers, right? You've got to be able to house information across all of these centers in order to be able to really galvanize and really have information to be able to use. And AI is just really perfect at this. So, and guys, I'm gonna get to the. I see the comments. Appreciate you guys for commenting, but my question is, are you guys ready to trust an actual AI doctor if it could diagnose you faster than a human? And there have been really policies that have been they've tried to put policies in place about AI. So AI has really infiltrated the medical system. It's really infiltrated how we see medical records, how we view, how we interact with humans, even in the medical field. And some people are happy, some people are not. AI, of course, is still kind of sterile. There are doctors per se that will and have the ability to prescribe. But I mean, a source that's sterile, you as a human, you kind of want human interaction. That's what I feel like we're all missing that to a certain extent. So, so we've talked a little bit about what AI can do. I'm also going to get into the industry of the smartphone, and Apple, of course, the iPhone. Guys, I talked about this countless of times, and I'm just going to kind of touch it back again. But you got to really go back to your I say, this is real on demand resources that you have at your fingertips, and then it's also about access. And then from the access, you're able to sort of to really dive into the technology and really learn the space. So where does the smartphone fit into all of this? Well, the phone in your pocket it's not just the future anymore. It's literally a transition device. Now I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Um, um, the iPhone, and I talked earlier about how companies have gone from actually having employees and trying to sell you a product to now selling you a service. You would think about like companies like Uber. Uber is a company that was very successful in really selling a service. I mean, now they're a taxi company, which, of course, you're able to work for Uber as a side hustle, side job, whatever. But it's really just serving a service. It's really serving you to be able to transition or travel from one point to the other. It's no longer about a taxi service, right? But it's like, how can we as a company serve you with the fastest and quickest and most efficient way, right? So a little bit about that. Um, we've now transitioned to go back to the smartphone. We're now seeing different technologies in the form of glasses. Meta has, for example, new Ray-Ban glasses that have in-lens displays, voice interaction. We've talked about that. There are neuro wristbands that read pretty much tiny electrical signals that are given from your muscles in your body. And then you can read your glucose. You can really read your heart rate. Basically, this is a baby step towards brain-computer interfaces, and then, I mean, that sounds scary, right? I'm actually, I really want to. I'm looking into getting a glucose monitor. I think that's probably a very important thing. You want to be able to your medical. It's very good to have uh, something to where you can monitor your your body and your body's response to even food. Right, food is important. It's an important resource. That's literally medicine for us. So, as for example, there are glucose monitors out there that you can. I think it's a glucose ring or bracelet that you can wear, and it constantly monitors your glucose levels as you eat throughout the day. You can see what kind of sort of spikes your glucose levels, and it's like that's amazing. It's amazing technology, right? There are also, like we talked about the wristbands. We talked about all these different electrical signals that can be used, that you can wear. They're wearable. This means your memory can be recorded, right? Um, and so that's a very powerful thing. Like, um, I'm not I'm not I'm not there yet with the AI glasses. And I can imagine having to wear them all day. They'd have to be comfortable, right? But what if it meant never forgetting anything because you have everything that's connected to you as to your as at your disposal, right? So the smartphone is really just the beginning of the technologies, and we're just starting to dive deeper into wearable items that we can wear and that are attached to us in our bodies that constantly feed us information as we feed it our interactions without the to and from different places and throughout the world. So this is very 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 important information. Yes, guys, AI is the topic. I'm gonna get to the comments. I know we got a lot of comments today, but I really wanted to kind of dive into this subject, and it really comes down to money, guys. It really comes down to money. There is a chip war that's going on out there that we don't know. We're not really privy to. We hear about it in the news, but you got to really follow. They always say follow the money trail. You got to follow where the money is being spent, where it's being used, and how it's being used, right? So there is a chip war that's out there, and Intel just happened to be one of the pawns in the overall economical situation that U.S. and China is in. The U.S. refuses to lose its foothold in the computer and the chip industry, even though this is sort of a last stand for the U.S. Right? We got to understand that many other companies are making more progress towards their own AI chips. And this is not good for the US, right? China is also building a parallel semiconductor ecosystem. And so I don't a parallel semiconductor ecosystem, like it's no games in this. There's a real risk, guys, that China creates a digital Silk Road. Now, I want you guys to look that up. But this is basically a full tech stack that they export to the rest of the world, leaving the US isolated. So the Intel deal is literally the US saying that we cannot afford to lose the chip race. And so these are all things that we've got to understand, that this technology is it's always evolving. It's always evolving. It's always being a space that we've got to understand. We got to make sure that we have the knowledge and the know-how to learn all of these different systems, and not just talking about here globally on the earth, but literally the future of AI is going to be able to enable space colonization. It's going to be able to solve labor shortages. We have labor shortages. I've talked about AI in the labor space and how there are a lot of jobs out here, guys, that people, they're dangerous jobs, and AI can really help if we are able to have like robots to do these dangerous jobs, right? So it solves this the next big industry of humanoid robots will solve these issues. Um, so I believe in terms of numbers, AI is probably raised over 1 billion um, at a $93 billion valuation. Even companies like Tesla, Elon Musk says they're mass producing 1 million robots per year in 2026 and 27. No, I don't know where they're housing all of these robots. If he's producing them, they're clearly sitting and just ready to be able to be released, right? So all of this, all of the humanoid robots is the next big industry, and it's gonna solve a lot of things in labor. And like I said, uh, the overall future of artificial intelligence, it's a very bright future. We have to understand that society will mostly embrace this going forward. We also have to know that if we do not embrace it, we'll sort of be left behind. I can imagine a job interview in the future of person A who is being interviewed, who has knowledge in AI and has used AI successfully and efficiently. Person B just pretty much just has a resume. Well, who's going to be picked? It's really going to be person A that's going to get the job. The person who can talk to the technology and use the technology in order to perform their responsibilities at work. And so, what will happen is, and you've got to be really wise. So I've learned in talking to even my own open source guys. I use ChatGPT, but it's not the questions you ask. You have to word certain things in a certain way to make sure that you're able to get the right information out. So let's see who do we have in the chat. Adia, hey Adia, how are you doing today? Sorry guys if I didn't get to you guys. There was a lot of a lot of interactions here in the chat. Kasim says, hey, what's going on? Kasim asked me about my PC specifications. Yeah, I may get to that. I may get to that later or in another video. If you'd like to know that, I've got videos on PCs on my specifications of my computer, so you can definitely check that out. Samat says hello. He's waving. It's good to see you, man. See you guys in the chat. Let's see who else is here. Namita. Hey Namita, how are you? Namita says, can you talk about how AI can help us in coding? AI, yeah. Coding and AI, oh my gosh. There's so much to talk about in terms of coding. coding with AI. How can that help us? And how is it helping us? And what is the future of that? You know what? We will talk about that because AI is already huge in coding, right? And how does it? How does it help us now in terms of coding? I get a lot of subscribers on the channel that are here. They're coders. I don't see him up here today, but my good friend Daniel, shout out to him in the UK. He is actually out there training his own AI computer systems. Um, but I would say coding. Wow, it's just so much to talk about with coding. Let's see what other Arshnu is here. Hey Arshnu, how's it going? How's it going? Hey Samat, I see you. Adita, I think. Hey, how are you? How are you guys doing today? Arshnu, how are things going with school, man? We kind of got in deep today. There was a question about coding. So with coding, there's going to be a closer interaction between software and hardware collaboration. So coders, more specifically, if you are a coder and you're living in space, it's no better time to be living. It's no better time to be in this space. Coders will basically, you're going to be designing software that directly relate and interact with chip advancements, which means there are going to be fewer limits and your computer is going to have more of a tailored performance. So AI and coding is going to develop newer industries, right? We're going to have just more advancement in chips and coding. Coding's going to unlock fields like, for example, quantum simulation. Let's see, personalized medicine, and literally smaller cities. So we got a few things going on with that. Let's see. Mr. Meaningless, what's going on? Adidas says, "Do I know Python?" No, I'm not too familiar with Python. What is your question on Python? Yes. Who else do we have in the chat? Appreciate you guys joining. And so I've talked about a lot. I mean, and I appreciate you guys for joining. Thank you guys who may be joining this replay. You may not be able to see the comments, but I am addressing them as I Prakasha. Hey, how's it going? How is it going? Somebody did ask about Python. So I believe I don't know too much about Python, but basically Python will be able to so in let me put it this way. In most of today's AI breakthroughs, chat GPT, voice assistants, they're built basically with Python, right? Because it connects the powerful chip libraries to these other chips like NVIDIA and Intel. So the future of Python in the AI space is going to be like, as chips get faster, Python will continue to be like a front door for coding for AI. So basically, it's just another faster means way of coding. So Python is basically the language that unlocks the power of all of these AI chips. You know, for example, it's like English for AI, right? It's simple enough for everybody to learn, but powerful enough to run the future, if that makes sense. Arshnu says, "How are the lives going?" Yeah, Arshnu, thank you. The lives are going great, man. The lives are going really good. This live, even the live that I've been on today, has really drummed up a lot of interaction. So I'm excited about that. It's always good to see you, man. Always good to see you in the chat. Who else? Any other comments you guys got here? We've talked about AI chips. We've talked about the acquisition of Intel by NVIDIA, which is really a strategic move on the U.S.'s part. There probably was, and that's the thing about governments. We only see the government as a ruling body and a ruling structure, but it's really it's more about capitalism and how much money can be made and how much money can be kept, right? You hear this sort of these overarching themed sayings of how the U.S. government says they're this is America, this is American made. It's all about American products. It's all about the American dollar. We've got to keep things domestically, even in industries, right? You're going to have domestic product that is going to it pretty much for the most part it costs more than international product. But what happens is we have all of these laws that the U.S. requires you to use or manufacture the product in-house, which is in-house in the U.S. That's where I'm from. I am in the U.S. And these products are super higher. It's way cheaper to manufacture products overseas. But what the U.S. does is they expose or they place tariffs on the products. They also require you basically by law to have to use certain U.S. Made and bred products. So let's see. Not Reacher. Arsenu says Google changed its chip manufacturer from Intel to TSMC. Now Tensor chips are going to be way faster. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about TSMC. TSMC is, I believe I quoted 66% of all chips are coming out of Taiwan with TSMC. It's a very it's a growing company, man. I mean, 66%, and you're talking about these are the literal brains of all of our AI models and all of these data centers. So yeah, it's a real thing. That's a great comment. And as we continue to talk about this, my guys, I want you to please, any comments that you have, any questions, any sort of discussions. This is a community. Arsenu, you're right. We've got to see what's happening in the background in terms of all of the deals that are being made, what's going on, what's going to happen, because systems will change. How we interact, how we come together, it's gonna be next level. Somehow it says I want my chip name to be Silica. Yep. Thank you for the comment, guys. If you get a chance, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I have plenty of videos, and we've had discussions on AI from. I mean, I recently talked about the universal basic income, that policy, and how that's coming back to the forefront. We've talked about so many different things. We've talked about the future of what societies look like as a result of AI integration. It's an ever evolving world and an ever evolving space. Ritchie says, I'm Ritchie from Los Angeles, working as a scientist in NASA. Oh, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. So you actually probably have a lot to offer. So thank you for, gosh, Los Angeles. Well, what time is it in Los Angeles? What is this? Is it like 3 in the morning? What time do you have? I know right now it's here. It's 7:30. So is it, what time, Rishi, is it in Los Angeles? We actually have a NASA facility not too far away from me. So, and I'm absolutely sure you cannot tell me that. And NASA had to be saved actually by Elon Musk, I think. I feel like he was filtering a lot of money through the U.S. government. They had a lot of backdoor policies and I don't know where he is with that because NASA is a U.S. Backed. It's a U.S. backed agency. Um, let's see. Apello says Ritchie, bro, Indian. Yeah, I'm not sure you're asking, but yeah, I was trying to get Ritchie to tell me what time it was in L.A. Um, this is quite a time difference from where I am on the East Coast to LA. So, but guys, I want you guys to stay in tune. Please, please join the channel, subscribe, even like this video. If you are watching this on a repeat, I really thank you, really appreciate you for locking in, for being a part of the community, because this is what we do. Baby says, hi, baby. Welcome to the chat. I appreciate all of you guys for joining, everyone who was on today. And I put out a lot of information, so I probably need to break it down into different segments, because sometimes when I get excited, I don't go slow at all. So I'm kind of like, not that I'm all over the place, but in review, like I said, a very big investment regarding Intel, NVIDIA just basically saved Intel from caving and from becoming bankrupt. And so this is a real big moment in technology in the terms of history. And this moment could really propel the U.S. back into the chip making business. We've just got to see what that looks like in the future of that. So really excited to continue to talk about this. We most likely will be on tomorrow. I've got to see what my schedule looks like. But I do thank you guys for joining. I thank you guys for locking in. And feel free to, like I said, if you get a chance, go watch some of the videos that I have out online. I've been mostly doing lives. I've got some pre-recorded stuff that I've got, and I don't know if I want to release it just yet, just because this is really like where this is really my bread and butter in terms of information, what I love to talk about, what I love to really the topics that I love to dive into research, and just to come on and to discuss and to hear you guys' side. Your opinions matter; they count. This is a channel where we learn to live, grow, and show, and then eventually we'll all be, in the know. And so I am very excited to know what is going to happen, or to see what's going to happen in the future of this channel and where it takes us. Guys, thank you so much again. I hope to see you. If I do come on tomorrow, just check around and see if I'm going to be on tomorrow. Check back this channel, basically the same time, same space. This is Brett with Anvil Music. Thank you all again, and you guys have a great weekend.